So today I want to show you guys how I implemented a autosave feature for an action text tricks editor in a Rails application. We're going to generate a new stimulus controller for autosaving our journal entries. I want to bind this stimulus controller to this form. I already have a separate and completely unrelated prompt controller bound to this form. We can bind the autosave controller as well by space separating the new controller to the data controller attribute. Next, we'll define the targets in our stimulus controller and wire them up in our form. Now, I'm going to use the web storage API to autosave the journal entry to the client's device before it's sent to my server for long-term persistence. So I'm going to use the DOM ID of the journal entry to be the key for my local storage lookup. So the local storage API is a blocking API, meaning that when you call get or set item, it's going to block the main thread. So we're going to want a way to minimize the amount of times we autosave the journal entry. We're going to do this by using a technique called debouncing. This is a technique where we're going to wait a small period of time after the user stops typing to autosave their work in progress. Now we could implement our own debounce function, but I'm going to integrate with the battle-tested lodash library for this purpose. Now I'm using import maps, so I'm going to pin the debounce function from lodash. Now when our stimulus controller connects, we'll debounce our autosave function so that it only runs after 500 milliseconds of inactivity, and we'll listen to the tricks change event to signal that we need to autosave. So what does autosaving entail? Well, we'll look at the editor's value, and if there is content, we'll save it to local storage. Otherwise, we'll remove it. Now you might be wondering why I decided to use session storage instead of local storage in this application. Well, they both implement the same storage API interface, so I could swap out one for the other no problem. Since this is a journaling application, I decided to use session storage to clear the storage once the user closes the tab or closes the browser. When the controller connects, we'll check to see if there is any content in local storage. If there is, we'll set the editor's value accordingly. Now this pretty much completes the functionality of autosaving the work in progress journal entries to local storage. But I want to take it one step further and warn the user that they might lose their data if they close the page or navigate away. So if they haven't typed anything at all, I'm going to skip this warning entirely. So if they're navigating away but they're still on my application, they're going to be navigating via Turbo. In this case, I want to confirm that their changes may not be saved. If they accept that, then we'll proceed with the page navigation. Otherwise, we'll prevent the navigation from happening so that the user can finish up their journal entry without any data loss. Now, there's going to be two types of events we're going to need to listen to. The first is for inter-app navigation, and that's going to be the turbo event. And the second type is if the user tries to close the tab or close the browser while they have a journal entry in progress. Finally, when this controller disconnects, we'll remove the event listeners and remove their work in progress journal entry from their local storage. And with that, our autosave controller is complete. We'll do a little test here. I'll refresh. We can see the before unload event is triggered. I'll say reload, and we can see that our data is still there. I'll navigate away. This is using Turbo, so I'm using a window confirm. We'll navigate away, and you can see here that the data is gone. That's because when the controller disconnects, we remove the work in progress journal entry from the local storage. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments how you would improve this autosave controller. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.